August 22, 2013. Despite the sudden downpour, President Benigno S. Aquino III distributed relief packs and hygiene kits to flood victims housed in an evacuation center at Binakayan National High School in Barangay Pulverista, Kawit, Cavite. In a short statement, President Aquino said that the Department of Public Works and Highways is doing its best to resolve the cause of flooding in their town. He also encouraged all evacuees to support each other in overcoming the severe effects of the southwest monsoon and tropical storm Maring. The President, assisted by Social Welfare and Development Secretary Corazon Dinque Soliman, gave out 3 kilos of rice, canned goods, sliced bread, blanket, sleeping mat, and toiletries to each of the 240 calamity-stricken families. They came from the barangays of Pulverista, Congbalay, and Aplaya, the lowest lying areas in the town of Kawit where floods reached up to the chest-deep level. Cavite is under a state of calamity along with 4 other provinces, namely Pampanga, Bataan, Laguna, and Rizal.
Good day, students. So let's have our discussion about conditionals. Using conditionals in expressing arguments. So what are conditionals? Conditionals are used in expressing stands or arguments which may be helpful in persuading others to move or act and even change their thoughts. Conditionals are statements expressing the result of a particular condition. So, argument here doesn't mean that we are making an argument or we want to fight, but it's just an expression or statements, okay? So, in this statement or sentences, we have here 2 parts. We have first the if clause or when clause. And it represents the condition. And the second part is the main clause, which explains the results. Conditional statements may appear in both affirmative and negative structures. So how we will know if the sentence or statement is negative? There is the word not. N-O-T. Okay? So in a statement, conditionals may appear first before the main clause. And if the main clause appears before conditional, the meaning of the sentence remains the same. So let's look here the 2 examples. We have the A, B, and AP. So if you pray hard for it, you will receive it. So where is the if clause here? Okay, very good. Next, where is the main clause? Okay, you will receive it. So if you notice the sentence in letter B, the meaning of the sentence didn't change even though the first part of the sentence is in the main clause. You get it? Let's now look at the second sentence. When you pray, God listens. So where is the if clause or when clause? Okay, when you pray. And where is the main clause? Okay, God listens. You get it? So you just need to remember the if and when clause because that's the beginning of your if and when clause. And if you notice, there's also a comma if the beginning of the sentence is the if and when clause. If the beginning of the sentence is the main clause, no need to use a comma. Okay? So, always remember that there are 4 types of conditional. The first one is zero conditional, and it deals with the habits and general truths such as law. It is formed using this structure. If or when clause, simple present, and for the main clause, we also use the simple present. please don't forget that structure. Anyway, it is included in your module. Let's look at the examples. Number 1. Where is the if or when clause? Okay, when you pray. And where is the main clause? God listen or listens. So where is the verb? Okay, pray and listens. So both are simple present tense. So let's look at the second sentence. If you place it in the fridge, the water freezes. So where is the if clause? Obviously, if you place it in the fridge. And the main clause, the water freezes. So where are the verbs? Okay, place and freezes. So let's look at the third example. If it is already curfew time, and the main clause, the road closes. So where are the verbs? Okay, closes and is. Simple present. Okay, let's go to the fourth example. So number 4 and number 5 are not in the module. So let's look at the if or when clause. Obviously, yes, when I go to school. And our main clause is, I always wear my proper uniform. So where are the verbs? Okay, go and wear. Now for the last example, where is the when clause? Okay, and the main clause? Okay. Where is the verbs? Okay. So are we following? Good. So the second type of conditionals is the first conditional. The first one, 0. The second, first. And it is used if the things that are possibly or likely to happen in the future. So if the statement can happen in the future, you will use the first conditional. Pwedeng mangyari sa hinaharap. So this is the structure or the formula. I called it formula sometimes So if, when clause plus simple present in the condition, and for the main clause we have here the will plus base form of the verb. So most of the time you can use the words unless, as long as soon as, but this is the common nga, yung mayroong if and when. Okay, let's look at the examples. So where is the if clause? Obviously, okay, and the main clause, where is the verbs? Okay, don't and I'll hire. So ano ba yung LL na yan? So it means I will. So that's the contraction of I will. I'll hire or I will hire. Okay. So next, if he passes the interview, the students will get a scholarship. So where is the verbs? Or where are the verbs? Okay, passes and will get. How about the third sentence? Where is the when clause? Okay, and the main clause? Okay. How about the verbs? Okay. Am. So that's the be verb am. Okay, I'll get. And number 4, it's unless Jerome admits his fault. So that's the if clause. But we didn't use if, we used unless. And of course, the main clause is I'll call your mom. So where is the verb? I will call and admits. Okay, next. Alright, as long as they need my services. Again, we didn't use when and if, but as long as. And the main clause, I'll stay in the company. Where are the verbs? Okay, need and I'll stay. So next, number 6, where is the if or when clause? Okay, as soon as I received my salary. And the main clause, alright. So where is the verb? Receive. And I will buy. And last number, in case Ada forgets her bag, I'll call her mom to get it. Where are the verbs? Gets and I'll call. Question so far? I hope it is now clear with you. Okay, let's move to the next slide. The second conditional. So this is the third. Don't be confused ha, kasi baka sabihin nyo, ma, ba't number 3 pero second? Kasi nga, we started with 0. So 0 conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and obviously for the fourth conditional is the third. Okay, so second conditional is used in dealing with the things impossible in the present and are unlikely to occur in the future. So of course, it means that something is impossible to happen today. So obviously, in the future, it won't happen. Hindi siya mangyayari. Okay, so this is the structure. If, so we will not use when. If na. Okay, so if plus simple past, and for the main clause, we will use would. And of course, base form of the verb. Okay, let's look at the examples. So obviously, all the if clause here begins with the if. So number 1, if I only passed the test. And the main clause, I would celebrate and party. So where are the verbs? Past. Okay. And would celebrate. How about number 2? Okay, if I received a lot of money, I would buy a new phone. So where is the verb for if? Okay, received. And for the main clause, would buy. Okay, good. So number 3, where is the if clause? Obviously, if. And the main clause, okay. How about the verbs? Okay, where and would do. How about number 4? Where is the if clause? Okay, and main clause. Again, the verbs are had and would ask. Simple past and would plus base form of the verb. And last number, if I were you, I would follow our class schedule in doing the learning tasks. So where are the verbs again? Where and would follow. You get it? Okay. And the last one, yan, matatapos na tayo. The last one is the third conditional. So it is used in dealing with things or change in the past scenario yielding to different results. Okay, structure is if plus past perfect, and for the main clause, would have and past participle. So this one, it's a bit confusing kasi you need to know the past participle. But anyway, I know you already know that and you can check from the internet or from the books if you are confused. Okay? One obviously, kasi nga pagtandaan natin is if. Okay, if. How about the main clause? Okay. So where is the perfect tense? Okay, had performed. And of course, for the main clause, would have stayed. So if you notice, the verbs now are longer compared to the simple present and simple past. Remember, if it is perfect tenses, you need to have the past participle. Okay, so let's have the second sentence. Okay, if he had finished his studies. And the main clause, Gabriel would have been an engineer. So the verbs are had finished. That is the perfect tense. Past perfect tense. And would have been, would plus have plus base form of the verb or the past participle. By past participle, hindi na base form of the verb because we use the perfect tense. Okay, next, number 3. Okay, and how about the main? Okay. So where are the verbs? Okay, had arrived and would have not missed. How about number 4? Okay, if only COVID-19 had not existed, the main clause, we would have held our classes at school. So I mentioned the answer for the if clause. The verb there is had not existed and would have held for the main clause. Number 5, if you had followed the given schedule, had followed, okay, you would have submitted the tasks on time. Main clause would have submitted. Okay? So I hope it is now clear with you. So, I only have 2 tips for you. Always follow the formula. Yung formula sinabi ko, yung structure nga. And of course, do not forget the correct form of the verb. So, good luck guys and God bless.
Look at these pictures carefully. Do they tell us something? Or do they tell us a story? The answer is yes. Okay, these pictures or all pictures tell us something and it tell us a story. And these stories have characters, setting, plot, the theme, and the mood or its tone. And these are what we call the elements of a story. Characters, characterization, plot, and setting will be the focus of our discussion for this morning. Let's go back with these pictures. In the directions here is analyze the pictures below, then be ready to answer the questions that follow. I will give you 1 minute to analyze carefully, to study the pictures carefully and analyze them. Your time starts now. Let us have the questions. Okay, before we're going to have the discussion, I will give you first the questions that you need to answer. First question, who are the characters in the pictures or in the story? Second question, How will you describe these characters based from what you see in the given pictures? Number 3, how about the setting? How will you describe it? Number 4, why do you think the author of this story created or have written this? Number 5, what do you think is the message that the author wants to tell us? And the last one is, how do the setting and the characterization used by the author contributed to the message that he wants to deliver to his viewers or readers? So these are the questions that you need to answer after our discussion. When we say characters, this is one of the elements of a short story. Characters refer to persons, creatures, or things who serve as actors or movers in the story. So these are the people, the creatures, the animals, or the things who act in the story. They portray specific roles with corresponding dialogues and plot lines. They may be protagonists or antagonists. Okay, so that is what we call the character or characters. Let us have characterization. A characterization is one of the writer's tools or literary devices that occurs anytime the author uses details about the character to teach us something about him. Is it clear? So when we say characterization, the author of that particular story is already giving us information or details about this particular character. Okay, this is used over the course of the story in order to tell us the tale. Okay, so let us have the second element, the plot. Okay, so when we say plot, it refers to the arrangement of the event, developing the basic ideas in the story. So when we say plot, it is the events, okay, the sequence of events in the story. Plot has 5 essential parts. And the first one is the exposition. Exposition, when we say exposition, it is the introduction or the beginning of the story. So let us have the second part, which is the conflict. So when we say conflict, it is the struggle or the challenges or the challenge that the main character or the particular character in the story is facing. That is what we call conflict. A conflict might be character versus self. The main character or the character in the story is having a problem or facing a challenge or a struggle within himself. Okay, character versus self means struggles with own soul, physical limitations, choices, and etc. Let us have the second type of conflict, which is external. Okay, so when we say external, it is the struggle of the character with the force outside oneself. The next type of conflict is character versus character. They struggle against other people. So this is very common. Struggle between one character in the story and with another character. Okay? And the fourth one is character versus nature. Struggles against animals, weather, environment. Okay, so that is character versus nature. And let us have the last type of conflict, which is character versus society. Okay? This is struggles against ideas, practices, or customs of others or of the society. So these are the 5 types of conflict. Let us have the third essential part of a plot, which is the climax. Okay, climax is the turning point of the events in the story. Okay, it is the peak point of the events in the story. Let us have the fourth essential part of a conflict, which is the falling action. So when we say falling action, this is where the resolution begins, or events and complications start to fall into place. Okay, so this is where the solution of the problem or the struggle of the character starts to be solved. Okay, and the last one is the resolution or the conclusion. This is this is the outcome of events in the story. The last element, okay, which is very important in this discussion, the setting. Okay, so when we say setting, it refers to the time and location when and where the story takes place. So when we say setting, it's not only the place. Okay, so it includes number 2, time when the story happens. Number 3, okay, weather conditions. So whenever we are describing the setting of a story, we need to consider the weather conditions, the social conditions, and the last one is mood or atmosphere. Okay, what feeling is created at the beginning of the story. So these are the contents of the setting. So we are done with our short discussion of this topic. Let us go back with the picture. After analyzing the pictures, let us have this question. Okay, so let us now answer the given questions. Okay, question number 1. Who are the characters in the pictures or in the story? The characters in the story or in the picture are, we have the old woman and the kitten. Okay, so these are the actors or the movers in the story. Let us have question number 2. Okay, for question number 2, how will you describe these characters based from what you see in the given pictures? Okay, so in question number 2, we are now applying or using the characterization. Okay, we need to describe these 2 characters, the old woman and the kitten. How are you going to describe these 2 characters? Let us have the old woman first. If you're going to look at the old woman, he is a calm old woman, okay, which symbolizes an individual who is full of knowledge and wisdom. Okay, so when we say old woman, okay, it represents an individual who is knowledgeable or who has more than enough knowledge about everything in this world. Another character is the kitten. So if we're going to do the characterization, the kitten here is a playful, or if we're going to describe the kitten, it's a playful kitten which represents young people of today's generation. What kind of young people do we have right now? They are adventurous individuals or young people who love challenges and who are sophisticated. So that is what the playful kitten or the kitten in the picture represents. So let us have question number 3. How about the setting? How will you describe it? So based from the picture, it's a very peaceful, calm, bright, and happy day or place. So let us have question number 4. Why do you think the author of this story created or have written this? Okay, what do you think is the reason why the author have drawn these pictures? As I am always saying, an author writes something because he wants to tell something. He wants to tell his readers or viewers something. Okay, so what do you think is the purpose of the author here? It is to entertain and to give us, maybe, to give us an advice. So if you are going to look at or analyze carefully the pictures, it gives us a message. So that is the reason why the author created this one. Number 1 is to entertain us. The second one is to give us an advice. So let us have question number 5. What do you think is the message of the author that he wants to tell us? What do you think is the message of the author that he wants to tell us? Based from the picture, the author wants to tell us that as young people, we need to be always ready with all the things which might happen any time of the day. We need to expect the unexpected. We need to be always ready to accept whatever the result of our actions. Okay, just like what happened to the kitten in the picture. He is very happy and excited in chasing the ball of yarn, which only brings him a big disappointment at the end. Okay, so there are people around us who are more knowledgeable than us. So we need to consider them and we need to listen to them. The very simple message that these pictures want to tell us. Okay, so let us have question number 6, the last question. How do the setting and the characterization used by the author contributed to the message that he wants to deliver to his viewers or readers. The elements or these elements give more color and meaning to the pictures or the story. So this make the meaning or message hunting more challenging and mind-blowing. Is it clear? So elements of the story, the characters, the plot, or the characterization and the setting are very important in the story. So it contributes something to the message of it. So that's all for today. See you again.
Binakayan National High School from the Division of Cavite Province, Senior High School category proudly presents this educational video. I would like to welcome you to our English 7th class. I am Ma'am Genevieve Lu, your English teacher for today's learning session. To formally begin our session today, may I ask Mark Angela Banagan to lead a prayer? Yes, in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, Mark Angela. Moving forward to the checking of our attendance. Yes, may I hear the attendance of Group 1? Okay, thank you. Group 2? Yes, thank you. And Group 3? Yes, so all of you are present today. Let's move on to the virtual classroom rules. Again, reminders to everyone that if you would like to post your answers, just type it in and type them in your our chat box, or you may raise a hand. No, just click the raise hand button on your screen. Thank you. For our most essential learning competency for today's learning session, discover the conflicts presented in literary selections and the need to resolve these conflicts in non-violent ways. For our learning objectives, at the end of the session, you will differentiate between internal and external conflict. You will identify types of conflict in literature, and you are expected to participate actively in class undertakings. Okay, for our introduction, I am asking you to bring out your learner's pocket or the LEAP, and we need to refer this first learning task in our learner's pocket, week 5. So it says that you imagine yourself in the following situations. How do you think you will resolve the problem in each situation? Alright, so the first situation is this. Can you change the channel? I need to watch the news for my homework. This is according to the older sister. But I'm watching my favorite variety show. And that's the response of the younger sister. Alright, if you are put in the same situation, how would you react? How would you resolve the conflict or the problem between the two of you? For instance, your older sister and you. Okay, very good, Roxanne. You need to talk and come up with the solution and the best decision that you're going to do, no, in order for you to have an understanding regarding this particular issue. Let's proceed to the second scenario. Okay, we have only one character here, as you could see in this dialogue. I want to watch the latest K-drama episode, but I still have modules to finish. Okay, so what is the problem in this scenario or in this situation? And how do you think this girl will resolve her problem? Of course, right? You need to think of it several times and come up with the best decision. Okay? Okay, we shall now move on with our learning task 2. It's entitled Your Schema. move forward to the next page of your learner's pocket and you will see there the following questions. Okay, so answer the following questions by choosing the best letter of the correct answer. Alright, moving forward to the first question. What is conflict? A. Two characters getting along. B. A struggle between two opposing forces. C. The climax in a story. D. Part of the resolution. Alright, you may now type in your answers in our chat box. Okay, moving forward. Yes, the correct answer is letter B, a struggle between two opposing forces. We shall now proceed to the next question. What is an example of an internal conflict? A. Is it person versus person? B. Is it person versus society? C. Is it person versus nature? Or D. Is it person versus self? Okay, you may now write your answers or type your answers in our chat box. Alright, time is up. And the correct answer is letter D, person versus self. As we move forward, question number 3. An external conflict that puts a character up against things like insects or weather is character versus blank. A. Mother. B. Nature. C. Man. D. Self. Okay, write your answers in your chat box. Okay, as I can see, Parala says it's C. Okay, Agana says B, nature. Okay, let's see if your answers are correct. Time is up. It's time now to reveal the correct answer. And it's letter B, nature. Okay, moving forward to the next question. A plane crashed on an island in the middle of the ocean. Chuck had to survive all on his own. A. Is it person versus self? B. Is it person versus person? C. Is it person versus nature? Or D. Is it person versus society? Okay, time to give your answers now. Okay, and time is up. The correct answer is letter C, person versus nature. Okay, so let's now proceed to our next learning task and let's learn this. What is a conflict? It is a struggle or problem faced by the main character. It happens because of differing views, intentions, or interests between individuals. A conflict can make it difficult to form a positive and healthy relationship. Okay, so we shall have the types of conflict. First, we have the external conflict, which refers to the opposition between an individual and some outside forces. The examples are person versus person, or a hero versus villain. Or in other books, it says there, character versus character. Another is person versus nature. Nature could be weather, animal encounter, or natural disasters. Next is person versus society. Society could be a law or a tradition that exists in the society. Person versus technology. Technology includes computer or machine. Another is person versus supernatural. When we say supernatural, it could be ghosts, gods, aliens, or monsters. You have encountered some of these in the literary text that you have read in the previous quarter. Moving forward, again, to deeply discuss person versus person, or man versus man, or character versus character, it involves two characters struggling against each other. It can be manifested in different ways, from a physical altercation to irreconcilable differences in morals or beliefs. And the best example, as I have mentioned earlier, is a hero versus villain. Alright, in our learner's pocket, it says there that the best example, or one of the examples rather, is coming from the story My Father Goes to Court by Carlos Bulusan, wherein the rich man had a complaint against the narrator's family for stealing the spirit or essence of their food. Okay, next. Person versus society. When one or more characters rebel against the expected behaviors or the existing norm of their society. Rebellion against family expectations, social norms governing values or beliefs. And in our reference book, in Philippine literature, the story of Awiyaw and Lumnay. Are you familiar with the story of Awiyaw and Lumnay? Okay, very good, Jose. And do you know that the story of Awiyaw and Lumnay is a love story? It's entitled The Wedding Dance, written by Amador Daguio. And it is all about separation between the two characters, the two couple, okay, actually, whom are really deeply in love with each other, but they need to be separated, or to separate, because they cannot bear a child, or they cannot have a child. And according to their tribe's custom, the two couple who cannot make a child should be forcefully separated. And this is the best example of this type of conflict. Moving forward to the next type of conflict, it's internal. It refers to the opposition coming from within. This is also known as character versus self, which involves moral and values. It requires a person's decisions when challenged by conscience and needs to choose between right and wrong. Okay, so this is our example coming from our learner's pocket. Okay, situation or scenario number 2. The girl who is confused with watching the latest K-drama episode, or answering her module, or finishing her module. Okay, this is a character versus self conflict. Okay, it's a type of conflict that takes place inside a character's mind. Self-literary conflict usually involves the main character's inner struggle with self-doubts, a moral dilemma, or their own nature. Do you have any question about internal conflict, which is character versus self? Okay, if there's none, let's now proceed to the next. How to solve conflicts in non-violent ways. Okay, here are the ways on how to stop conflict from getting worse. First, you need to calm down. Deep breaths can be a good start. Okay, just calm down, relax. Okay, second, listen to each other when discussing about the issue or problem. You just close your lips first and just open your ears to listen what he or she is saying. Next, third, you need to take responsibility for your actions. Consider what you would have done differently if you could go back in time. The fourth one is think of the solutions that are acceptable for both everyone. And next, you choose the solution together which you think will be the most effective. Okay, it should be a win-win scenario, no? And the last one is accept when you realize that you are wrong. Forgive if you receive an apology, or thank the person for solving the problem with you. Do you have any questions about the different ways of resolving conflicts? Okay, these are those steps. Okay, next. we shall move on to our next learning task, and this is entitled Tell Me. Okay, here, conflict can also be established through the character's dialogue. Read each dialogue or passage and determine the type of conflict faced by the character. Choose from the list below and write only the letter of your answer. For letter A, is it person versus person? B, is it person versus society? C, is it person versus supernatural? Or D, is it person versus nature? Or E, is it person versus technology? And lastly, F, person versus self. So we shall have our first dialogue. This is coming from the epic story of the Bicolanos, no, entitled Ibalon. Are you familiar with the story Ibalon? Okay, so there, Baltog is the main character. No? Baltog waited for a long time. Finally, when the moon was bright, the man-eating boar came snorting and tearing crops as it went along. Baltog hid under the bushes. When the boar came within reach, he sprang at it. Man and beast tumbled to the ground in mortal combat. Okay, in this particular dialogue, what do you think is the type of conflict? Okay, very good, Aliana. It's person versus supernatural because it's a combat between Baltog and the boar, okay, which is a beast or an animal. Okay, next. Thank you. Let's move on to the next dialogue. This is coming from the story of N.B.M. Gonzalez. Do you know who is N.B.M. Gonzalez? Okay, he is one of the famous Filipino writers. No? And one of his writings is Hunger in Baroque. Hunger in Baroque. And this is now the dialogue coming from their story. I'm thinking, broke in Pare Crispin. I'm thinking of going back to my old trade. I was a carpenter once, see? And before that, I was a fisherman. Can I go to Sumagi and work there? Okay. Yes, anyone from you who would like to tell us the type of conflict being presented in this particular dialogue? Yes. Mary Chris. Okay, very good, Mary Chris. This is person versus self, an internal conflict. Okay, moving forward to the last dialogue. But Ama, he said to father, I have a fear of the river. The river? Father asked, has it not always been like this? Yes, Ama, Daniel replied. But here is news. The Bonga, way upstream, has already overflowed its banks, and the Bonga flows into the Baroque. There will be a big flood then? Father asked. There will be a big flood, Ama, Daniel declared. Okay, again, this is taken from N.B.M. Gonzalez, The Land and the Rain. Okay, an excerpt from The Winds of April. So can you identify the type of conflict being presented in this particular dialogue? Exactly, Mario. Okay, this is person versus nature. Thank you, Mario, for that answer. At this point, we shall now have our learning task 4. It's entitled Tell Me. Here, you're going to read each situation and determine the type of conflict faced by the character. Choose from the list below and write only the letter of your answer. Okay, for letter A, is it person versus person? B, person versus society? C, is it person versus supernatural? D, is it person versus nature? Or E, person versus technology? Or F, person versus self? Alright, for the first statement, Martha breaks the curfew set by her parents. What type of conflict is this? Yes, Danilo. Correct. Very good, Danilo. Okay, and this is again person versus person. Next, Linda is in a hurry to get to work and runs a red light. Yes, Josefa. Would you like to give the answer in this particular statement? Yes, exactly. And this is person versus society. Why? Because the red light, the traffic lights, are imposed by the society. And in the woods, a guy is being chased by a wild animal. Yes, Daniel, would you like to tell us what kind of conflict is this? Thank you, Daniel, and you're right. It is person versus nature because of the wild animal. Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to the next activity. We shall now move on to our next learning task. And if I am not mistaken, this is your last task. Your view matters. Okay, sorry for the typo error. It's already learning task 6. Okay, directions tell if conflicts are shown in the following scenarios. If yes, determine the type of conflict. Are you ready? Okay, let's watch this.
Nasa 1,000 pamilya na apektuhan sa sunog na sumiklab sa Kawit, Cavite. At live mula sa Cavite, may unang balita si Corinne Katibayan. Corinne?
Maris, good morning. Umabot sa Task Force Alpha ang sunog na sumiklab dito sa barangay Samala, Kawit, Cavite. Ibig sabihin nito, hindi bababa sa 20 fire trucks ang kinailangan. Ginising ng lagablab ng apoy ang mga residente ng barangay Samala, Kawit, Cavite pasado hating gabi. Mabilis daw ang pagkalat ng apoy kaya lalong nagkagulo ang mga residente. Kanya-kanya silang bitbit ng mga pwedeng isalba habang inaapula ng mga bumbero ang apoy. Ang gurong si Jobel, una raw hinakot ang mga gamit niya sa online teaching.
Yung gamit ko po pang turo, yung mga certificates ko po na kailangan, ito po talaga yung una kong kinuha. Kinuha kasi para po sa trabaho. Kasi work from home.
Masamang-masama naman ang loob ni Reynaldo na nakatira sa tapat ng bahay na pinagmulan ng apoy.
Malungkot lang, siyempre, wala nang bahay. Wala nang bahay. 1 taon pa lang pinagawa ng anak ko yun eh. Biglang wala na. Pinagtrabaho ng anak ko sa ibang bansa.
Ayon sa BFP, nasa mahigit 500 bahay ang natupok. 1,000 pamilya ang naapektuhan at pansamantalang titira sa evacuation center. Nadamay din ang daycare center na ito, ang covered court, pati na rin ang mismong barangay hall. Sabi ng BFP, nahirapan silang apulahin ang sunog.
Ang fire scene po natin, ang involved po ay made of light materials, mga informal settlers po. So, doon po tayo nahirapan and then kanina, napakalakas po ng hangin. Kaya malakas yung spread of fire, mga 80% po ng barangay eh. So yun ang...
Nasa 800,000 pesos ang halaga ng pinsala. Iniimbestigahan pa ng BFP kung ano pinagmulan ng apoy. At as of 4:34 a.m. kanina, idineklara ng fire out ng BFP ang sunog. Yan ang latest mula rito sa Kawit, Cavite. Ako si Corinne Katibayan, buong puso para sa Pilipino.
And of course, in our assimilation part in your learner's pocket, it states there that you need to write or give your reflection. Okay, just follow the template that I am giving to you as presented on the screen. I have learned about blank in our session today. Thank you. Okay, with this, I would like to give a big thank you to all of you for your active participation in our class today. See you again tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I am Teacher Sheila, and you are at your English Hub. We have 3 main types of verbs: the action verbs, the linking verbs, and the helping verbs. Action verbs, these are verbs that tell us what action something or someone is done or performing. All the things that we do, just like run, walk, talk, read, write, what else? Wash, take a bath are action verbs. Linking verbs, these are verbs that connect a noun or a pronoun with the word that identifies or describes it. In a sentence, linking verbs connect the subject to its predicate. The commonly used linking verbs are the verbs to be. These are the is, are, was, and were. Sensory words verbs are also used as linking verbs. What are the sensory words verbs? These are the words using our five senses, just like look, tastes, smells. Like for example, the dish smells good. Okay, the word smells there is a sensory word verb connecting or functioning as a linking verb because it connects the dish, which is the subject in the sentence, to the word good, which is the predicate describing the dish. Okay, so from the root word link here, linking verbs function as a connector. Okay, a connector of the subject to its verb or predicate. And the last type of verb that we have is the helping verbs. These are verbs added before another verb to make it a verb phrase. Helping verbs function also as linking verbs. Okay, so let us have this table. As you can see in this table, we have this what we call forms of verb to be. We have are, and is, okay, as verbs to be. As shown in this table, we are going to use when the subject of the sentence is singular first person, and that is I. Okay, I always takes as its verb. How about are? When are we going to use are? Are is used for singular second person you and plural second person you. Okay, so in short, you always takes are as its verb. Clear? Okay, are is also used for plural pronouns, first person and third person, we and they. Okay, while the verb to be is used for third person singular. We have he, she, and it. For personal pronoun, he, she, and it is the verb to be that we need to use. Okay, so let us have this one, the forms of verb to do. Okay, so we have do and thus. When are we going to use do and when are we going to use thus? Okay, as shown here, do is used for I, we, and they. Okay, so plural first person and plural third person they. We also use do for second person singular you and second person plural you. Do is also used for first person I, you, we, and they use do as the verb or linking verb. While he, she, and it, which are third person singular, use thus. Okay, so for verb to have, let us have and has. Okay, for singular first person and plural first person, we need to use have. It's I and we. For singular and plural second person you, have is also used. Okay? And for plural third person they, have is also use for it. And for he, she, and it, singular, third person, we use has. That's all for today. I hope once again that you have learned something from this discussion.
Good day, everyone. I am Sheila E. Estavillo, a faculty member of Binakaya National High School, together with my co-proponents, Dr. Gloria T. Villela and Ma'am Jeneline D. Tangalin. We are here to present to you our research paper titled Project Read and Learn, REAL, Probing its Effectiveness in Enhancing the Academic Performance and Reading Comprehension of grade 7 students in BNHS. For the context and rationale, the literacy abilities of 21st century pupils are directly related to the demands of reading skills, which result in the capacity to comprehend information analytically, critically, and imaginatively. However, the Philippines ranked dead last among 79 nations. This is according to Manila Times in 2020. Based on the 2018 Program for International Assessment PISA Global Survey of 600,000 students, the Philippines scored 340 in reading comprehension. That is below the global average of 487. This led to the conception of Project Read and Learn, or REAL, which was implemented at Binakaya National High School to increase reading literacy and comprehension utilizing the Philippine Informal Reading Inventory, or PhilERI, among frustrated 7th graders. To achieve this end, there is a felt need to enhance the existing academic reading instructional strategies, determine ways to increase the reading achievement of students, and therefore to decrease or eradicate the number of students who are identified as at risk or struggling or below level. This study was guided by these research questions. Questions 1 and 2, this is all about the academic performance as well as the comprehension level of the respondents before and after the intervention program was implemented. While questions 3 and 4, this ask if there is a significant difference between the academic performance of the respondents before and after the intervention program was implemented, as well as in the comprehension level of the respondents. Question number 5 also asks if there is a significant relationship between the academic performance and the comprehension level of the respondents before and after the intervention program was implemented. And the last question, this is all about what are the supplementary reading materials may be developed based on the findings of the study. For the key literature, literacy is the secret to success in a literate culture and an integral part of the educational development of students. Reading and writing skills that are highly developed are correlated with higher academic achievement. Several language structures in listening and speaking must be learned prior to the development of literacy skills. The development of literacy skills must involve more than the production of printed words or the structuring of letter sequences through writing. So, these formats must incorporate a level of language comprehension. So this is according to Wright and Associate 2013. For the methodology of this study, the research design used was quasi-experimental method, having 33 participants, 13 females, and 20 males from grade 7 students. In data gathering, the tools or instruments used were the grades, the pre-test and post-test, as well as some supplementary materials. And for the data analysis, frequency count, percentage or mean, and standard deviation were used in this study. Aside Aside from frequency count, percentage, or mean and standard deviation for data analysis, interview, survey, and thematic analysis were also used in this study. Let us have the findings of the study. This table is the grading scale used in measuring the academic performance of the respondents before and after the intervention program. While this table shows the number and percentage of male students who got frustration after giving the pre-test. Then, this table tells the number of male students who got fairly satisfaction before the intervention program, specifically first grading period. While this table shows the number of students, both male and female, who got fairly satisfaction after the intervention program, and that was done on the third grading period of the school year. On the other side of the study, this table shows the comprehension level of the participants during the pretest, or this was before the intervention program was done. After the intervention program, as shown in this table, from 33 in the frustration level to 24. So 9 were promoted to the next level, which is instructional. Moreover, this table tells that there is really a significant difference in the comprehension level of the student participants before and after the intervention program. Same with this table. This only shows that there is a significant relationship on the participants' academic performance and the comprehension level after the intervention program was implemented. The following slides just show to us the different reading or supplementary reading materials which were used and developed through the Project REAL intervention or the implementation of this intervention program. The first one is the CVC words. Next is a learning module for grade 7 students. This is based on K-12 curriculum and others. For the implication of the study, this result affirms that the intervention conduction has placed a significant difference between the pre-test and post-test of the test result of the participants. After the intervention or post-test, the majority of students' reading abilities improved significantly. So this study can be a basis for the top management of Binakaya National High School in improving the CIP programs. And here are the conclusions of the study. The second conclusion and the third one. So the conclusions only tell us that there is really a significant difference on the reading comprehension and academic performance of the respondents before and after the implementation of the intervention program. Based on the conclusions, here are the following recommendations. First, needs more academic motivation for male students. Next, implementation of Project Read and Learn. Next, satellite learning center and teacher volunteers, and future research studies and a wider and bigger perspective. Here are the references, the list of references that we used in this study. And that's all. Thank you and God bless us all.
A pleasant day to all. I am Ma'am Genevieve Liu together with my co-proponents, Ma'am Melinda Labiano and Merlinda C. Legaspi. We are pleased to present to you our research study titled Teachers' Perception and Professional Development in the Time of COVID-19 Pandemic, Basis for School Plan for Professional Development. For the introduction of this study, the education system has adopted education in emergency during COVID-19 pandemic. Hence, it also requires significant modification in the teachers' professional development programs according to Labitan and Lumibao 2021. DepEd, through the National Educators Academy of the Philippines, or NEAP, has initiated and implemented various professional development programs and courses which are aligned with the Philippine professional standards for teachers. This study aimed to determine teachers' perceptions on professional development activities during the time of COVID-19 pandemic as basis on formulating the school plan for professional development in Binakayan National High School. Here are the specific questions. First, how do Binakayan National High School teachers perceive professional development activities? What kind of PD activities have Binakayan National High School teachers engaged in or received so far? How do Binakayan National High School teachers describe the most effective PD activity they have participated in during the time of COVID-19 pandemic? Fourth, what challenges do Binakayan National High School teachers experience in applying the knowledge and skills learned from various PD activities in the actual classroom teaching? And lastly, what human resource development programs, activities, and topics can be proposed as part of the school plan for professional development?
For the methodology, we utilize the descriptive qualitative research design, and the purposeful sampling technique was used. A group of teachers who have direct experience and engagement in various professional development activities during the time of pandemic are the participants of the study. For the data collection procedure, a semi-structured interview with 5-item questions that underwent a validation. Focus group discussion was also done to further validate participants' responses. Data analysis. Information obtained from the interviews and focus group discussions was properly documented. The responses were analyzed in terms of patterns, themes, regularity, or other predictive occurrences that were revealed during the process of data gathering.
For the results and discussion, majority of the participants perceived the professional development activities as avenues for the enhancement of their instructional planning skills, instructional and ICT skills, knowledge on content or subject matter, and assessment strategies. The School-Based Learning Action Cell and in-service training, NAEP initiated learning development programs and activities. Private learning providers initiated learning development programs and activities had recorded high participation rate. The challenges encountered by the participants in the application of the acquired knowledge and skills from their engagement in various PD activities include classroom management and development towards learning activities, insufficient support mechanisms such as resources, work overload, and unconducive facility in the workplace. The proposed human resource development programs, activities, and topics mentioned by the participants are effective strategies on classroom management, critical thinking skills, research skills, and advanced ICT and communication skills, strengthening the focus group discussion, mentoring and coaching in school, in-service training, and participation in NAEP organized trainings. For the recommendation, the conduct of the prescribed self-assessment of teachers should be religiously monitored in order to attain the accurate data for the needs, beliefs, and characteristics of teachers. It is necessary to consider the reduction of non-teaching related tasks of teachers to avoid overlapping of activities and work overload. Strong support and active involvement of stakeholders are contributing factors for the success of the process. The school needs other resources such as technological, financial, and facility improvement from LGUs, alumni, and from private entities. Thank you for listening.
A pleasant day to all. We are pleased to present to you our research study titled Level of Disaster Risk Reduction Awareness of Selected Students and Teachers in Binakayan National High School, Basis for School Risk Management Intervention Program. Many schools in the District of Kawit and Cavite are considered vulnerable in various environmental problems, especially flooding. DepEd spearheaded the creation of Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, or the DRRMO, that initiates the establishment of mechanisms which prepare, guarantee protection, and increase resiliency of employees, teachers, and students in the face of disaster. In connection, this is the statement of the problem. Generally, the study aimed to determine the level of disaster risk reduction awareness of the selected students and teachers in Binakayan National High School for school year 2022-2023. Here are the specific problems. First, what is the level of awareness of the participants on risk reduction in terms of hazards, risk reduction understanding, risk reduction involvement, standard operating procedures, knowledge and practices, and involvement on risk reduction activities. Second, what intervention program can be proposed for the school disaster risk management system in Binakayan National High School for school year 2022-2023?
For the research methodology, we utilize a quantitative descriptive research design. We have a sampling of 60 selected number of teachers and students in Binakayan National High School for school year 2022 to 2023. Quota sampling technique was also used. For the research instrument, the level of awareness on risk reduction was based on participants' responses in the Disaster Risk Reduction Education Monitoring Checklist from the School Risk Reduction Manual Booklet Number 2, whereas the proposed intervention program for SDRRM was anchored on participants' responses from the above-mentioned instrument. A descriptive data analysis using mean and median was used in this particular research.
For the result and discussion for research question 1, the participants' level of awareness in terms of hazard as shown the above table is under low category. For the participants' level of awareness in terms of risk reduction understanding as shown in the above table is under high category. For the participants' level of awareness in terms of risk reduction involvement as shown the above table is under moderate category. For the participants' level of awareness in terms of standard operating procedure as shown in the above table is under low category. For the result and discussion for research question 2, the schools need to strengthen its school disaster risk management program to address the awareness of learners and teachers regarding hazard. Moreover, the participants' awareness of standard operating procedure is also needed to be enhanced. Thus, the SDRRM proposed intervention programs will be focusing on the above-mentioned areas. For the conclusion and recommendation, improve existing SDRRM programs and intensifying partnership with the LGUs and barangay must also be taken into consideration in the process of implementing initiated programs and projects of the school in addressing impending school hazard brought by natural calamities as part of the shared responsibility of the community and the school. It is also recommended that the school DRRM must intensify its partnership with the LGUs and barangay in implementing measures and programs to mitigate the occurrences of natural and man-made hazard to increase the awareness not only of the school level but also the nearby residents of the impending hazard brought about by the natural calamities. References for your guidance and perusal. Thank you and God bless us all.
A pleasant day to all. I am pleased to present to you our research study, Manifestation of Political Culture Among the Selected Teaching Personnel in Kawit District Towards the School Administration, Basis for Conflict Management Strategies. Yours truly is Ma'am Genevieve Liu, the main author of the study, together with my co-proponent, Dr. Gloria T. Villela.
There are factors that affect the organizational behavior. These include the attitude of its members, conflict, culture, political behavior. It is very important to understand the behavior of the members of an organization to be able to interpret its acts pertaining to certain issues. Moreover, the grassroots problems can only be solved if the manifestation of political culture is specified and understood. The following key literature can be associated with this study. According to ESSERI 2019, culture plays a significant role in aligning the employee's goals and the organizational success goals, decisions, and other matters. Moreover, Kyle et al. Of 2019 stated that political behavior involves the power and impact behaviors exerted on other individuals on a micro scale, while Lushansky of 2007 reiterated that the attitude towards the existing differences in the institution, the method of resolving conflict among the members, the attitude of the members towards the institution, and the typical structure of an institution are among the characteristics of political culture. The major problem of the study is how do the political cultures manifest in the behavior of the selected teachers in the district of Kawit in Cavite. And the specific problems include how do the polyarchal, fragmented, collectivist, and parochial cultures manifest in the behavior of the selected teachers in the district of Kawit in Cavite. And lastly, what conflict management strategies could be initiated or developed based on the various manifestations of political cultures in the participants' behavior. For the research methodology, in terms of sampling, a total of 50 teachers who are employed in the current school year serve as the participants of the study selected via propulsive sampling. For data gathering method, the researcher used a survey questionnaire which is composed of 3 parts. Part 1 is intended to measure the demographic profile of the respondents or participants. Part 2, to determine the manifestation of political cultures and the behavior of the selected teachers towards the school administration. And Part 3 is intended to get the comments and suggestions that the respondents wanted to include or to be part of the study. For data analysis, here are the following quantitative data analysis used: percentage formula, weighted mean, and simple linear regression. And for content analysis of the responses for the management strategies that could be initiated or developed based on the various manifestations of political cultures in the participants' behavior. For the demographic profile of the participants, as to age, their ages vary from 28 to 50 years old and above. As to gender, majority are female. In regard with their years of teaching and many of the respondents are teaching for 12 years and above. And with regards to civil status, majority of the respondents are married. Our findings for research question number 1, as to the manifestation of polyarchal culture in the behavior of the respondents towards school administration, all the variables are fairly observed with a mean of 3.89. With regards to the manifestation of fragmented culture in the behavior of the respondents towards the school administration are observed with a mean of 3.17. As to the manifestation of collectivist culture in the participants' behavior, most of the variables are fairly observed with a mean of 3.46. On the other hand, as to the manifestation of parochial culture in the behavior of the selected teachers towards the school administration, most of the variables are fairly observed. And lastly, what conflict management strategies were suggested by the participants? Solution to conflicts for democratic norms is the first one. Second, schools must continue to inculcate among the faculty strong loyalty that lead to a sense of inclusiveness and integration. And lastly, devise approaches that will ensure and preserve harmony, such as team building activities and integrative methodology. Here are some of the recommendations we have in the study. The school should continue to solve their conflicts through democratic norms because peaceful ways of resolving disputes lead to harmony and better quality education. And the school must continuously inculcate among the members strong loyalty in order for them to perform well with their duties and passion, with their responsibilities. And of course, for the future researchers, we also would like to recommend that study also specific issues that lead to the above stated behavior of the participants, because of course the behavior itself is not the only factor in analyzing the decision and actions of an institution. And here is our action plan for the dissemination and advocacy. And lastly, this is the list of our references. Thank you so much.